Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to be continuing this story here, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So today we're going to continue reacting to the heated debate that took place yesterday on ESPN First Take, featuring JJ Redick and Kendrick Perkins, right? Basically, the summary of it was basically this. Kendrick Perkins believes that there's some discrepancies in the MVP voting. He kind of brought a racial aspect into it by mentioning, the fact that the 80% of the voters, I believe, are non-black or something like that. I think the number is it's a different figure. I think it's 70 or something like that, mid-70s, whatever. Then JJ Redick came back and said that basically had nothing to do with race. That was basically his main point. He was basically saying that the reason these guys are being voted like this is because of, the success and the numbers that they're generating, and they had that back and forth, right? So somehow, some way, this thing, spread like wild, spread pretty quickly, and then a particular radio show was actually able to corral Charles Barkley, I believe, is a Denver radio show. The name of the show is called Altitude Sports Radio. Altitude, yeah. Denver, yeah, that makes sense. So they were able to get him on the phone, right, somehow. And when they got him on the phone, they basically wanted to get his take on the blow up between JJ Redick and Kendrick Perkins. And funny enough, he had not actually seen it, and he explained why, which was pretty hilarious. So what we want to do is play what he had to say. But before we get into his comments, this show is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Charles had to say here, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what Charles Barkley had to say there.
Hey, man, I'm trying to work on my golf game. Y'all bringing me on radio to talk about stupid stuff? Come on, man. I'm working on my face. I'm trying to learn how to hit a cut and a hook today. I'm working out today on fades and hooks.
Okay.
You know what? That's asinine and silly. Asinine, silly, and stupid. Pick one of the words, whatever one you want. Hey, man, listen, Joker has won 2 MVPs, well-deserved. Him, Giannis, and Joel are battling for the 3rd one this year. Mm-hmm. Going to go down to the wire. One of the things that's silly about ESPN at times, they do this silly debate every year about the MVP. Going back to even when I played, the MVP is never quote unquote went. They did it a lot with LeBron, which makes me laugh too. The MVP, because Derrick Rose won it, he deserved it. Kevin Durant won it, he deserved it. And so it's a regular season award. It ain't who the best player is. It's who had the best regular season. Yeah. But every year ESPN get these fools on radio and TV talk about who's the best player. Well, listen, Michael Jordan probably was the best player in the NBA for probably 5 years before he won an MVP because his team wasn't no good. So they have these silly things every year, and it's really just that's the silliness of these morning talk shows because, like I say, everybody in the NBA knew Michael Jordan was the best player for 5 years before he won MVP. Everybody know Kobe Bryant was a better player than Steve Nash, but the Suns had the best record in the NBA the years that Steve Nash. So one of the reasons Joker is the front runner or one, whoever was in competition with him, they had a better regular season record. He had he's been fantastic, but the notion that people are voting, first of all, you probably can count the white guys on one hand who won MVP. Yeah. Think about in the last 30 years, I'll just pull that out.
Sure.
Other than Joker twice, Steve Nash twice, how many white guys actually won MVP? I can't think of it right now, but
Dirk
is there anybody else?
Dirk had one right after Steve Nash had two.
Nowitzki. And by the way, Nash won 2 in a row. I don't think Nash deserved 2 in a row, personally. I don't think he did. He won 2 in a row, but I don't think he was the best player in the game 2 years in a row in the regular season.
It wasn't about the best player. It was the best who had the best regular season. Then the Phoenix Suns had the best record in the NBA those 2 years. And you reward winning when you're voting for that. Even though Shaq and Kobe might have been better players, what were their seedings? Yeah. So when Steve won back-to-back, I'm pretty sure the Suns had the best regular season record both of those years. But to get back, Vic, the point I was making, you name me 5 white guys who won MVP out of the last 30 years.
Okay, well then why in the hell is Perkins? What is going on here? Why are we going down this damn road? You know what? You know full well, Chuck. You were at All-Star Weekend. This dude, Joker, he don't even care about the award. He don't even care, man.
And and I'm pretty sure he don't give a damn about these idiots on TV talking about him either.
You're right.
If I know the Joker, what time is it in Denver right now?
10 a.m.
Well, he probably just getting out of bed. He got a good night's sleep. The Nuggets, they won a tough game last night. Mike Malone probably should have gave him the day off and let him sleep in the day after that game.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm pretty sure he's not in for all this silliness. Hey, man, like I say, you can't tell me because the numbers don't make sense. Even if you want to do it, first of all, does he know how many voters there are who are white actually, or he just pulled 80% out of his ass?
Yeah, he did. He did because it's not 80%. It's not 80%. It's more like 68%. Okay.
But my point is, if only 5 white guys have won MVP in the last 30 years, that makes 0 sense. His argument, 0 sense, because if that was the case, we'd have a lot more white MVPs if white guys or girls, ladies, excuse me, I don't want to leave them out. If they're only going to vote for white guys for MVP, wouldn't the numbers be like, instead of 6 out of the last 30, wouldn't the numbers be like way, way worse?
So you heard his comments, right? Charles said that he thought it was pretty much stupid, right? Stupid idea to bring it up. Now, I think it's important that I say a lot of people are going to disagree with Charles Barkley, not based on what he said, but maybe based on his track record and all of those things, right? I really want to focus on the aspect of what he had to say about ESPN. I don't want to really focus on whether or not he thinks is true or not. One could characterize this as sensationalism. Now, to be fair, when you're in media, we all kind of do it to a certain extent. Some do it more than others. But, I think in the case of ESPN, they were looking to drive ratings, right? That's their business. That's their business model. That's how they make, their money. And if it means putting Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick against each other on live TV, and if they know that it's going to, drive ratings, that's exactly what they're going to do. And if they believe it's going to happen like that, chances are they're going to do it again. We saw when JJ Redick and Chris Mad Dog Russo got into it, and it was great TV. And then before you know it, they started finding ways to get the two of them on TV together, right? Because they know that whenever they get these two gentlemen on TV, it's going to be pretty entertaining. It's going to be contentious, and it's going to be good for ratings, right? So I think that's the reason that they're doing it. I don't think because Charles Barkley made those comments, that's going to all of a sudden make them stop what they're doing. I think they believe that what they're doing is working, and to a certain extent it is, because a lot of people are talking about it, right? A lot of people are talking about it. I'm sure a good amount of people are seeing it. I'm sure that it helps their IP with more people talking about it. The name goes around more. JJ Redick is flying around more. Kendrick Perkins' name is flying around more. Stephen A. Smith's name is flying around more, is being searched more, so it helps all of them. And ESPN is, so I think that's ultimately what they wanted to do. In terms of what Kendrick Perkins had to say, I'll just kind of reiterate what I said on another show. I don't understand how this conversation is productive. Now, some people think that it is. Again, it's just my personal view here. I'm not saying that my view is the law. I just don't feel like this is a productive conversation to have. In my personal view, I believe that you can drive some, significant ratings by just coming up with great topics, and then make them contentious. But it doesn't really have to be about this. Some people would disagree. Some people believe that it's a conversation that needs to be had. If that's what you believe, then have at it. I'm not here to dissuade you one way or the other. To me, it's just not something I would engage in, right? That's not my angle when I'm covering sports. So I don't try to do that. I believe that there are times when it comes to take a strong position. And I did that on many occasions with the Kyrie Irving situation and some other situations, because I believe that those situations merited it. And you got to take a position. You can't be floating in space, right? But in this particular case, I just didn't see it. Now, in my personal view, I think Giannis should be the front runner for MVP. He's putting up incredible numbers, and his team has the best record. Is Giannis going to win? Who knows?